The rain clouds hung low over the Arkansas sky as if nature itself was warning them not to come any closer. The road up to the farm was cracked and lonely, a single strip of asphalt swallowed by fields that should have been green but were now nothing more than gray patches of dying soil. CID Detective Ava Quinn stepped out of the car first, boots sinking slightly into the mud. Behind her, Agent Cole Ramirez scanned their surroundings with calm, trained eyes. But there was something else in his expression, something Ava couldn't read. The air smelled of rusted metal, damp wood, and secrets buried too deep to reach the light. Lucas sat at the edge of the barn, his hands trembling even before he began to speak. He looked like he hadn't slept in days, maybe weeks. His voice cracked when he said he had been expecting them. The farm was never what it appeared to be, its decay wasn't caused by nature, but by people. The soil had been poisoned intentionally, he claimed. Not to kill crops, but to hide what lay beneath them. Burials didn't always require coffins. Sometimes the earth swallowed the past better when it was weak. Ava and Cole exchanged a look. There was fear in Lucas's eyes, but something deeper, too, grief. He spoke slowly at first, then faster, as if keeping the truth inside hurt more than letting it out. He told them about the girl from the pictures, Emily. She wasn't from Arkansas. She never wanted to be here. She vanished one night, and the news reported her as a runaway. But Lucas knew better. She had tried to escape, with him. They had planned everything. A midnight bus. Fake names. Cash hidden in his boot. Freedom waiting just 2 towns away. They were young, but love made them reckless and brave. Love also made them targets. The farm wasn't struggling financially. That was the disguise. Hidden underneath the fields was a covert operation, trafficking undocumented workers for labor. They were kept silent by threats and shackles. Some were sold. Some vanished without explanation. Emily discovered the truth, and once love entered the equation, escape became the only choice. But someone found their plan. She was taken before Lucas even reached the bus stop. He returned to nothing but her necklace on the dirt road. He was forced to stay. Forced to work. Forced to keep quiet. He led them to the barn. Ava noticed that his steps were hesitant, as if a part of him hoped they wouldn't follow. He knelt in the farthest corner and pulled at the rotting wooden floorboards. The sound echoed like bones breaking. Beneath the barn was a hidden room. It smelled of sweat, rust, and dried blood. Chains lined the wall. Some had snapped. Others hadn't. A carving in the wood caught Ava's eye. It read, "I will come back for you, Cr." Cole froze, staring at the initials like the letters were alive. Ava noticed immediately. He looked as if he had seen a ghost wearing his own face. Lucas said he hadn't written them. He assumed someone involved in the investigation had left the message, or someone who betrayed it. Agents had come before, but none stayed long. The empty shackles whispered stories of pain, but one of them told a different story. The metal was worn in a precise shape, as though someone had tried to hold another's hand through it. Ava's chest tightened. Pain leaves marks, but love leaves traces. Lucas said he still heard her voice at night, calling for him. Sometimes he called back. Sometimes the wind answered. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the barn felt less like a structure and more like a confession. And standing in that hidden room, Ava realized the truth was far from complete. It was only beginning, and it was staring directly at cold night winds swept across the fields, stirring the dead crops like restless spirits. The farmhouse lights flickered as if the building itself were breathing. Inside, Ava walked slowly across the worn floorboards, her mind burning with questions. Cole stood apart from her, his back to the wall, eyes fixed on nothing. She had seen suspects break down under pressure many times before, but never another CID agent. Never someone she trusted with her life. Footsteps echoed outside. Backup arrived. CID officers flooded the area, blue sirens flickering against the black sky. Lucas was taken into custody, but he didn't resist. His eyes found Ava's, as though begging her not to stop searching. Not to let the past win. She promised nothing, she only looked toward the barn. The carved letters wouldn't leave her mind. Cr. Cole Ramirez. The evidence was stacking itself like a silent verdict. The chains. The initials. The hesitation. The look in his eyes when Emily's name was spoken. Ava approached him slowly. Cole didn't raise his hands, nor did he reach for a weapon. He just said her name, softly, Emily. Not like an investigator. Not like a suspect. But like someone remembering a heartbeat. For a moment, the world stopped. The truth was no longer distant. It was breathing right between them. Ava asked one question, the only question that mattered now. Who was she to you? Cole didn't blink. Didn't deny. Didn't defend. His voice was quiet but steady. She was my assignment, and then she became the only thing that ever felt real. He had worked undercover at the farm years ago. He had infiltrated the trafficking ring, built a case, gathered names. But Emily found out what he really was, and instead of exposing him, she fell in love with him. She begged him to leave with her. To burn everything and run. For one night, he considered it. For one night, he wasn't CID, just a man who wanted to be free with the woman who looked at him like he was more than his badge. But the mission continued, and the farm's secrets became more important than their love. He chose duty. And she disappeared because of it. Cole never recovered. He carved those words into the wood as a promise, to her, or maybe to himself, that he would return. But he never did. The investigation ended, the files were buried, and Emily became another missing face in a world full of them. Ava lowered her gun, but her voice stayed sharp. So you knew this entire case was tied to you. That's why you agreed to come. He nodded. I couldn't live with it anymore. Outside, officers took him into custody. Cole didn't fight. In the flashing sirens, he looked at Ava one last time. Find her grave, he said. Let her have a name again. As he was led away, rain began to fall, soaking the land that had been silent for too long. And Ava understood, this case was never just about crime. It was about a love twisted by guilt and a truth buried in Arkansas soil, waiting for justice like a ghost waiting for dawn. The farmhouse stood in silence at the edge of the field. Every window was boarded, every door shut in a way that didn't feel protective, it felt afraid. Ava pushed open the creaking gate. It didn't squeal like normal hinges, it groaned like it remembered pain. On the porch lay piles of unopened mail, most stamped with red letters, final notice. But money troubles weren't the reason they were here. Someone had sent an anonymous tip. Someone wanted them to find something. Inside, it felt colder. Dust layered the furniture like snowfall, and cobwebs netted the corners. A single chair lay overturned in the living room, too clean, too recent. The signs of struggle were faint, but undeniable. Ava's instincts sharpened. She followed a narrow hallway to a small bedroom. The walls were covered with old pictures of the land, the farmhouse, and a young woman whose face appeared over and over, smiling, alive, missing. On the dresser lay a photo of her. The back had words recently carved in shaky handwriting, "Find her." Ava studied the picture longer than she should have. Cole stood behind her silently. Whoever lived here cared about her, she said. Cole nodded, but it was distant, distracted, like his mind was somewhere buried in the past. They kept looking. In a desk drawer, they found a diary, worn, pages torn, its last entry unfinished. It spoke of fear, whispers at night, footsteps when no one should be walking. And at the very end, only one sentence. If anyone finds this, know that love can be a cage. Ava felt something chill her spine. It wasn't just a disappearance. There had been love here, desperate, consuming love, and love can start wars more quietly than hate. Night began to fall. They stepped onto the porch again as the wind picked up. Something moved at the edge of the woods. A dark car sat there under the shadow of the trees, engine silent, headlights off. Watching. Ava raised her hand to stop Cole from calling out. They stared into the darkness together, unsure if someone was protecting the farm, or guarding a secret. The sky rumbled and thunder echoed across the empty land. They had traveled hours to reach this place, but already there was a feeling neither of them could shake. This was not just a farm. It was a graveyard for truths no one wanted to confess. And somewhere in that silence, the story of the missing girl was waiting, not to be found, but to be reckoned with.